Hello! We're leaving Campbeltown. Had a nice day there. It's 20 knots from the south, so we're just sort of clearing the lock, and then we'll be coming off the wind and a nice run down to Spanza. Again, I apologise to my legion of fans who already know all this stuff, but for those who don't, you've probably seen this line in earlier footage. Basically, it allows me to moor quite easily on my own without having to jump off. So it's in a loop, and you see there's a plastic end to it, and it's tied on a sort of, not a midships cleat, but sort of 3/4 way along the boat. And what I do is, as I come alongside the pontoon, I just throw that over onto a cleat, and the boat will gently come to a stop, keep a little bit of forward on the engine, and that just pins the boat into the side of the pontoon while I then climb off and attach the bow and stern line and the springs, etc. And I've also just used it now to spring my bow off. The wind was pinning me on quite strongly, so what I did was I moved it. I moved the inward end to the rear cleat, put a big fender right on the rear, and took the plastic end further forward to a cleat that was at sort of the middle of the boat, and I reversed, and reversing on it causes the bow to come out, and when the bow is in a suitable position, give it a little bit of forward, unhook the loop off the cleat, and away we go. Well, I'm enjoying this after being in port for a day. The weather isn't great. It's not raining. It's a steady 24, 25 knots. But I've just got the Genoa out, and I'm doing 6.8 over the ground. About this very little tide in this channel, but yeah, it's a little bit rolling from time to time when I get hit on the quarter by a wave, but generally it's all right. Another thing we have to think about when we're sailing is our batteries. Great when you've got the engine on. Not great for sailing, but it's great for your batteries because they will obviously charge your batteries. But I try and sail as much as possible, and there's a lot of kit going on: the AIS, the radar, the auto helm, the fridge if you're using that, your instruments, they all use power, and you've just really got to keep an eye on things. So what I have, what I use is solar and wind. And obviously on a day like today, wind is king, and he will continue to do his work throughout the night whilst the solar's having a little kip. But I'll show you in a second. But I've got two 100-watt solar panels. One's forward of the hatch, between the sort of the spray hood and the mast, and the other one on top of the spray hood. They're not in an ideal position, but I'm trying to resist having an arch on the stern of the boat. I think it's ugly, especially at a boat. I think the Western Storms are nice, quite a sleek looking, although old now, but sleek looking boat, and I think a load of stainless steel slung on the back wouldn't look so good. And this is why we've just travelled over 500 miles. This is Loch Ranza, castle down there. The sun's even come out a little bit. See school here, doing some leaving water in the sand. Morning. Well, that was Loch Ranza. Must stop saying that. Loch Ranza. Very nice. Would be even nicer if the weather was nice. So we've left there. It's 11 o'clock. Had a bit of breakfast. Very bumpy night, even though it's north facing. We have a southerly wind. The wind funnels down the valley. So yeah, very steady. The noise was lively. Not going far today to Tarbet because I need some provisions and a bit of civilization. Didn't go ashore. There's nowhere to go ashore there. The community are doing up an old hotel because they've seen that there's a market for people like me, but not open yet. So not worth going ashore. Plus, it was would have been a lively dinghy crossing. So you see a bit late. Well, a pretty uneventful trip from Loch Ranza to Tarbet. We're nearly there. See the mouth to the harbour now. There's been no wind. The drizzle has cleared off, which is good. And even with the low mist, it's very beautiful here. Yeah, it should be in within the next hour or so. Shipmates, morning. It's Thursday morning, left Tarbet. I've had a shave for you. I was looking a bit Captain Haddock-ish. So on my way to Largs today, I'm going to go through the Kyles of Bute, have a little look at that on the way through. Really enjoyed Tarbet. Definitely a place I'll return to. Well, I'll return to all of them, but definitely return to Tarbet. Plenty of life there. Had a nice couple of beers and then a very strange Indian in the restaurant there last night. Yep, as usual, we've got the wind up the chuff and the Genoa's out. It's gusting 18 knots, but it's sunny, as you can see. Quite squally though. Wind. They seem to when they put the wind estimates here, there's always a massive squall difference, which means the rate of wind, or the average rate of wind, is about say 14 knots, but they'll say it gusts up to 28, 29 knots, and I think that's because of the hills and the mountains that the wind will accelerate off, and the valleys, of course, as it funnels down. Something else I haven't noticed before, sailing on the south coast, on this boat especially, is that Desmond the Depth often says it's too deep for him, which generally means it's over 100 metres. So as we cross this stretch of water between Tarbet and Bute, he just says deep. And I've noticed that a few times while I've been up here, but never noticed it before. Strong wind on the nose as I was coming, while I was on my mooring, which meant it was really quite gusty, which meant as soon as I'd have untied the lines, she'd have just shot back, and I probably would have been left standing on the quay as my boat disappeared off into the abyss. So what I did was I just used my docking technique in reverse. So I put that line with the plastic hoop on a rear cleat on the dock, and just put the jet engine in forward, and that held her in position while I untied the lines, jumped on board, took the boat out of drive, and she just slowly drifted back, or quite quickly drifted back with the wind, and I unhooked my line as it got slack. Oh, brilliant. So after today, I'm afraid I'll be contravening my Trades Descriptions Act, and I won't be single-handed sailing because my lovely wife Jane is coming on board for a few days. So I shall still film and show you the places that we visit, but yeah, it won't be as a single-handed sailor. Well, it will be really, because Jane doesn't do that much. It's a tie break. Let's see if I can redeem myself.
We asked both of you this question before you came on air. And the question was, what's the combined age of the 4 members of you two and the 5 members of the Spice Girls? Jane, what did you get?
What surprised me at this Scottish place is there are mountains. Who would have known? Because until today I've only seen the first 100 foot going up from the sea. But there's these big mountains. It's quite spectacular. I don't see so much on the camera, but take my word for it. Ooh, just all hands to the pump. Out of nowhere, squall 42 knots. So I had to shorten sail considerably. Thought I was going to lose a whole lot. Shame I wasn't filming that.